Tell me your name. How old are you? We know you go to Helix, but...
I'm Kaya. I go by KK for football, and I'm 16 and I go to Helix.
Okay.
I'm a sophomore.
Are you born and raised
Yeah.
San Diego? Nice.
I like it here.
What do you like
nice.
about San Diego?
I love surfing. I surf all the time. I go to the beach. Well, I try to go to the beach as much as I can, but sometimes two sports gets a little busy.
Yeah. What two sports do you play? Because we talked about you playing the quarterback.
Yeah, so I play flag football and I play soccer.
What position in flag football?
I play wide receiver, running back, and free safety.
Wide receiver. So you're out in the field.
Yeah.
You're
yeah.
out in the field.
I play Ironman, so I play both ways.
So flag football is new. So it wasn't for girls is new. It wasn't around when I was coming up.
Yeah.
Tell me about it. Like if I had never heard of it, never seen it, how would you describe it? Maybe not like the rules.
Yeah.
But
I'll go into like a full rule book. No. So it's a pretty new sport. New-ish. I've been playing since I was 7. So I started playing with my brother, and I grew up playing all with boys, which I think was really beneficial for me because...
Did you play flag football or regular football?
Yeah, I played flag football. I do have helmet and pads, so me and my brother sometimes just go out and hit each other. But it get a little scary when he's 180 pounds.
So that's how you got into it with your brother?
And then I grew up playing with boys, and then I kind of weaned off of it, took a little break. But then I got back into it last year, and I started playing club flag football and rec. And I kind of hadn't lost. I kind of missed a step, which was really nice. Mm-hmm. And so now I'm going to go and try out for the national team next weekend.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
How does it feel to prepare to try out for a national team? What does that feel like?
It's very nerve-wracking, but I'm really excited because I'm a competitor at heart, and I like the competition, and I feel like I've been playing in a way that like I haven't reached what I could fully do, you know? So I feel like I definitely am really excited for the opportunity.
Have you always been a competitor?
Yeah, definitely. Ever since I was like 2, my dad would beat me or not beat me at games, and I'd be like, no, I want to lose fair and square or win fair and square.
Oh, there you go.
So it's definitely, we've always kind of had a little back and forth thing with the two of us.
Being a girl, did you ever get told that it wasn't okay to be competitive?
Definitely, yeah. Like you're supposed to be kind of quieter. Like whenever I go and I'm like, oh, like just down at the field at lunch, and I'll be like, oh, can I play? They're like, well, you're a girl, you don't want to play like football with us, even though it's just touch. Like, yeah, they just don't want me to compete in the same level as them, and I feel like it's kind of almost intimidating in a way.
Intimidating for who?
Both. Yeah.
So how did you overcome that?
I think I overcame it by, like, I have a brother, so I've hung out with a lot of boys growing up, and 13-year-old, 14-year-old boys, they make you ready for anything.
Right.
So like I've just gotten really, really competitive with them and realized that like if I can beat a 14-year-old little track star, like I can play with some freshman boys my age.
Was there ever a time like at school or in that setting where you physically went in and was like, you know what, I don't care what you guys think, like I'm gonna play? Or maybe was it they couldn't ignore how good you were? Like, do you remember that moment?
Well, definitely for when I was younger and playing flag, it was like out of everybody, including all the boys, like I was the best player. And so they would go and they'd be like, okay, like we actually have to double team her. We can't like mess with her. We can't like poke fun. Like they were like, okay, this is getting serious, and it was nice.
And they picked you up. Take me back to a time in your life that was hard. What do you feel like is something challenging that you've had to overcome in your 16 years?
Yeah, so when I was 11, in 5th grade, COVID hit.
Okay.
So I ended up we had online school and all that, and then my 7th grade year, I was 12, and my parents decided to homeschool me. So they were like, okay, yeah, like let's try this out. The online thing wasn't really working. We didn't really want to go back and have that awkward kind of situation. So my 7th grade year, I was homeschooled, and I kind of started getting more into like watching social media, and then it was also COVID, so I wasn't out experiencing kind of life with other people. And I was really into athletics, and my family never really stopped being into athletics during COVID. So I would go to the gym and go on runs when all that opened and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And even then I would have home workouts at home. But that kind of, with all the time that I had on my hands, that kind of spiraled into a case of like pretty bad body dysmorphia.
Body dysmorphia?
Yeah.
Okay, what does that mean?
So body dysmorphia is like, you know, when you look in a mirror and you see a reflection. So
Got you.
body dysmorphia is the case where there's something in your brain that makes it so that you don't see what's actually there. So you look in the mirror, and for me, I saw someone who was way bigger than I actually was.
Oh, wow.
So even when I went down to 70 pounds, I still saw someone who was 170 pounds.
You went down to 70 pounds from, do you know?
I was like 135 pounds.
No way.
So I lost about 65 pounds, so half of my body weight.
And you were 11?
And at 11, yeah. I was 12 at that time. I started getting the bad body dysmorphia at 11.
Okay.
And then it kind of took a year for that to fully spiral down. I just turned 13 in October, and it was like getting really, really bad. So my parents decided, they were like, well, something's wrong. Like, they were like, it's not just wanting to be fit, it's not just wanting to be athletic and getting better at sports, because that's what I blamed it on. I was like, I just want to be better. I just want to run 6 miles a day because I want to be in shape.
Right.
And that wasn't the case. It was because I wanted to be smaller and more pretty and kind of.
Did you know that and you just weren't saying that?
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. So like the goal was to lose the weight.
Got you.
It wasn't an accidental thing, definitely not.
Okay.
The goal was to lose the weight because I was afraid that nobody would love me if I wasn't small enough. Which I think is a really big thing for a lot of girls with body dysmorphia or eating disorders, whatever type that is. There's many different types.
So you realized you had body dysmorphia.
Well, I didn't know.
Well, you didn't know that at the time,
I didn't
right?
know
But
that
you
at
knew
the
that you were
time.
trying to get smaller.
Yeah.
So you lost 65 pounds, and then what happened?
I went to a dietitian because my parents were like, well, we need you to get help. So I had a therapist and a dietitian, and I went to maybe one therapy session, and she was like, I don't know what to do, because I wouldn't speak. I wouldn't talk about anything. Growing up, I was I don't need help. Like,
Got it.
I was I'm independent.
Yep.
I can do my own thing. Just because like I'm a girl, I'm independent. I can do it. And so I wouldn't talk to anybody, which is one thing that was a really big problem for me, is because I couldn't express how I felt to anybody. I was like, I always have to be happy. I always have to be good. I was the older child. I was always academically good, athletically good, and it was like I couldn't have a problem because I felt like that wasn't okay.
Right.
And so I remember this one, I went to see the dietitian, and I was going to go surfing after my dietitian appointment. And I went there, and she weighed me, and I had lost 10 pounds in a week.
Wow.
And she was like I can't willingly or like with the peace of mind let you go and continue to exercise.
Right.
Because you're not eating. I was eating 200 calories a day at my lowest.
Wow.
And like,
what is that, like a piece of fruit maybe?
Two pieces of
Wow.
fruit, or a tablespoon of butter. Like it's
Wow.
it's not sustainable at all.
Right.
And so
She told you couldn't?
she was like, you can't continue sports, you can't continue exercise until you actually start eating. So I remember this is one thing that brought me and my younger brother really close, is I like walked out. I was like hell bent on like doing something because I wasn't about to allow her to take away my sports because
right.
my sports were my passion and really my lifeline.
Yeah.
I went and I ate a Cliff Bar because I thought one Cliff Bar would be enough to convince her that I was okay. And then she was like, it doesn't matter. Like, you're so far down that nothing's gonna help you get back up except consistent, ritualistic eating.
Right.
And so I went to the bathroom and I sat on the floor and I cried and cried and cried. And my brother came in and he was my lifeline at that point after my sports got taken away, is like, I have to stay alive for him.
Oh.
And like that was hard for me because like I felt very alone at the time. because my parents, obviously, their duty is to keep me alive.
Of course.
And they have to keep me alive to eat. And so it was like, well, what do I hold on to? Because I was so upset. My eating disorder made me and my parents very, like, enemies.
Got it.
Because they were the thing that was trying to make
Get you
it go
to eat.
away.
Yeah. So mentally,
November.
what was the toll that it took on you? Like in that, if you can, it sounds like you can remember pretty vividly that state of mind. And you're probably going to get into it. So your brother came in and planted a seed that you feel like catapulted you.
Yeah.
Your relationship with your parents at the time was probably a little.
Yeah, it's been 4 years for us to fully, like, mend and repair our relationship, like, for me to be like, I know it wasn't them.
So talk to me about what tools, what things happened in that 4 years for you to recover? Is that
they call it being an eating disorder recovery.
Okay.
Definitely for the past year has been a lot easier than the 3 prior years.
Okay.
The first step is my parents were like, okay, we can't help you ourselves, which was very hard for them.
Yeah.
Because they were like, well, like, I had never had consequences. I was a very, like, emotionally intelligent kid.
Yeah.
So I never, like, really was needing to be punished. And then that was the first time they were like, well, how do we make you eat? Because having a conversation about it and being like, hey, this is what you need to do, usually would have worked. But with the voice in my head, it no longer worked.
With the voice in my head, how powerful the voice in our head is.
It's insane.
Right.
And the determination that I have for sports also determined me to not eat. It's like, it was kind of a double-edged sword in a way.
Yeah. So this was 4 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago?
Yeah.
And what I want to touch on is, you said your brother came in and planted a seed that, you know, hey, like, I need you here. And that was motivating. You knew that if you couldn't play sports, that would motivate you. But it wasn't like snap of a finger, okay, because those two things are motivation enough, I'm going to change.
Yeah.
So what has been the process? Because it sounds like it's been a process.
It's going to be the hardest thing I have to overcome and think in my life. And that's saying
present tense.
Yes.
Going to be.
Yes.
Like you're still working through it.
So I ended up I spent Christmas at home, and then on New Year's Eve, or a day before New Year's Eve, I went to a treatment facility.
When you were?
I was 13.
Okay.
And they were like, okay, well, maybe this what they called, it was CFD, so Center for Discovery. Okay. And they were like, well, maybe having somebody else tell you have to eat. It was just a day program. I went there from 9 to 9,
right.
And I went home and slept in my own bed and all that.
Yeah.
And so I got there, and I was doing my, like, kind of orientation thing.
Right.
And I laid down because they have to take what they call orthostats.
Okay.
So basically an orthostat is when you go from laying down, so they take your heart rate laying down.
Okay.
And then you stand up, and they take your heart rate standing up. And the variability between your laying down and standing up heart rate has to be between a certain number.
Okay.
Otherwise you're orthostatic. So they took my heart rate, and I laid down, and my heart rate was, I don't know, like, if you have any, like, background in, like, kind of
I'm sure most people don't.
Yeah,
but give us a kind of a
I laid
general.
down, and my heart rate was 40 beats per minute.
Okay.
And I stood up, and it was 170.
Wow.
So
that
they
was
were like,
too big.
That was
of a gap.
Way too big. So
right.
they want it to be, a normal orthostat is you go from 80 to 90.
Okay, that puts it in perspective.
So going from 45 to 170 was very concerning.
Right.
And they were like, sit down, because your heart could stop. So they were like,
did any of this scare you?
At the time, I was so, like, there was something, it's a medical condition. So it's something in your mind that changes the way you view the world. So I was like, well, I have to, it's just every day, one less calorie. I was still going down. And so I got up, and they were like, okay, we have to call your parents. And I was like, why? I'm like, here.
Right.
And they're like, you need to go to the hospital.
Got it.
Because my heart in that time could have stopped. Like, when your body doesn't have enough nutrition, it slows your heartbeat, and after enough time of slowing your heartbeat, it will stop.
Right.
You'll have a heart attack, and I would die.
Right.
So my dad, he came and picked me up, and we drove to Radies, and
Hospital.
yeah, the children's hospital, and they were like, so they took my vitals,
Yep.
and they were like, well, like, you need to go to the MCU.
Okay.
And so
The care unit.
yeah, it was a care unit
Yeah.
for people with eating disorders, and it was basically like a kind of, yeah, just like a recovery area. And so we went up there, and they put me in like the code red kind of room. They
Got
put
it.
me on, like, they had like all the life-saving like support by, and so it was really scary, I think, for my parents to finally realize like how bad it had gotten.
But even for you, it still wasn't
It
registering.
wasn't scary. Like,
Yeah.
I got up to the ward and into my bed,
Yeah.
and they were like, okay, you have to eat. And I was like, no.
Right.
Like,
You
and
were
even
in it.
I was dying, and they were like, you have to eat, and I was like, no, I won't.
So your parents were obviously terrified.
Yeah.
Did you feel how terrified they were?
Definitely. And I think one thing about the eating disorder is it kind of unattaches you
Yeah,
to other
100%.
people.
The emotion, you
The
can't
emotion
connect
is
to the
just
emotion
not
of
there.
it.
Like,
Right.
and I feel a lot of emotions, and I think I'm a very like kind of emotionally aware kind of person.
Yeah.
But at the time, like, I didn't care.
Right.
I just couldn't care because everything was going on up here that it wasn't able to register that I was hurting other people so deeply. And it was like, it's one of the scariest diseases. It has more death rates than all other mental illnesses combined.
I had no idea.
So, and I feel like people are very unaware of how dangerous it is, and how in this kind of day and time, like our society, where we put so much pressure, especially on young girls,
Yeah.
to look a certain way. Models, social media, newspapers, articles on the web that are just like this diet and this diet and this fad and all this stuff, and it's like putting so much pressure on these 8, 9, 10, 11 adolescent girls that are like, well, we have to do this. And
Well, I'm going to jump in.
Yeah.
Was that where you feel like it started for you?
yeah, I think it started in that societal pressure to be perfect. Yeah.
Where are you now in your journey?
Yeah, so I'm on the road to recovery. I wouldn't consider myself like fully there
Okay.
yet. I definitely, from where I was in the hospital, I had a lot of calories to make up.
Okay.
We're
talking
like thousands
of
like
calories.
easily hundreds of thousands of calories.
Hundreds of thousands
because
of
I was having to eat, I don't know, like usually people eat like 2200 calories a day,
Yeah.
like a healthy adult person.
Right.
I was having to eat 550 just to be able
Oh, I got you, because you couldn't
to-
overload yourself either.
Yeah, just to be able to restore, like it was like gradual caloric intake. So what we call it weight restored. So I'm now like thankfully weight restored, so I
Okay.
don't have to eat any more, like any extra calories. I'm just trying to stay the same weight, not put so much pressure around weight,
Okay.
because that was what got me downhill fast the
Yeah.
first time.
Exactly.
So I was having to, I have to now eat a certain amount of calories a day, which
Okay.
we talk about it less as calories and more of components.
Okay.
So we try and say like, oh, one component is basically 100 calories. So
Got
you
it.
have to eat 5 components for dinner. Like, and
Got it.
I'm trying to work towards being able to just grab 5 components and be able to eat it, because I still have to eat with my mom.
Mm-hmm.
And at school, I have to go to the wellness center and I have to eat with a teacher so that they're all comfortable knowing that I'm eating what I need to.
How does it feel for you mentally? Like, do you feel like,
It's-
are you open to the help?
I'm definitely open to the help, and I know I can't necessarily right now be able to be like, I can do it all myself.
Got it.
And I hate saying that because I love to be independent. I would love to be able to go travel somewhere by myself and be able to do it and be okay.
Yeah.
But I'm not there yet, and that's definitely what my therapist and my mom and my family are all pushing towards right
Yeah.
now, is being able to just do because I have to have 3 snacks and 3 meals a day to keep basically putting logs on the fire for my metabolism.
Got it.
So otherwise my body, if I don't eat a snack a day, my body will revert back to its old ways because it's so panicked, because I starved it for so long that it's so panicked and it doesn't want to go back.
That makes sense.
So I would have to, my parents are just trying to find out a way that I can eat 1 snack a day by myself.
Got it.
And try and like slowly
Steps.
progress, like
Take the steps, yeah.
steps the way there. So
Love that.
I'm starting to what we call plating my own meals. And this is 4 years later.
Right.
Like 4 years of my mom coming out with a plate, me crying, eating it.
Wow.
Like it's 4 years of constant like having to put that pressure on.
Yeah.
And then like 4 years of having to kind of heal my relationship with food and not just eat chicken and rice every single day.
Heal my relationship with food.
Yeah.
While you've been healing your relationship with food, do you feel like you've healed or you're healing the relationship with yourself?
Yeah, they're kind of
They go
together.
hand
They
in
go
hand.
hand in hand.
Yeah.
So it's like I have to learn that I have to be okay with who I am and be okay with where my body is, because I need my body to be able to do my sports.
Right.
Like I was gonna break at 70 pounds. And I realize that now, but at the time I was like, oh yeah, I'm fine. I'm big and strong, you know.
I need my body to do my sports.
Yeah.
That's so good.
And sports is my passion, so it's like understanding that I need it to be able to function the way I want to. And especially with this like national team kind of level, is we would stay in a dorm for 3 weeks and just eat and train and eat and train. So I'm trying to push, that's over the summer. So I'm trying to push really hard right now to be able to get there and be able to do that on my own.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay. So what is this is good. What is the one piece of advice you would give an 11-year-old girl or any age who is maybe in the beginning stages of what you went through with body dysmorphia?
Yeah, I mean, perfection isn't the goal, and it's impossible to be perfect. Like, it's okay to have some mark on your face or some birthmark on your leg. Like, it's
100%.
okay to be not okay. It's also okay not to be okay.
Yeah.
Like, to be able to communicate with others and talk and, like, have a support system. I think a support system is like the one thing that got me through this. My family, my friends, my therapist and dietitian are my lifesavers, and like my sports as well. Like understanding that not a support system doesn't have to be people. A support system can be an animal, a pet, or your sports. Like it can be a lot of things. So having a strong support system, perfect isn't the goal, and it's okay not to be okay.
You are why we're doing this. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you are why we're doing this, because everything you just said, coming from a young woman, is what all girls need to hear.
Yeah.